Hi everybody. Welcome to today's video. First off, I hope you're doing well. I hope you're staying safe during this time. We are still in the middle of the global pandemic, and here in California we have started to see the reopening of such things as restaurants, retail, and some of the entertainment spaces back open to the public. So in this video, we're going to take you along as we visit the San Diego Zoo on its first day of being back open, Saturday, July 20th, 2020. We went bright and early, right when the park opened, prior to 9 a.m. So the first thing you notice when you enter is that the entrance to the zoo and the queue that you have to get into to get to the entrance has overtaken a very large chunk of the parking lot near the main gates. We arrived and we were siphoned into a set of switchbacks that led us to the screening tent. And these switchbacks did go back and forth quite a few times. I would say at least 5 or 6 different switchbacks that we had to go through. Once under the big tent, we were shown a sign, and that sign had 3 different questions pertaining to COVID-19. The screening questions asked if we were experiencing any of the main virus symptoms, if we'd been around anyone who's tested positive for the virus, and have we traveled to any of the so-called hotspots across the country. So we answered no to all 3 of those questions. We did have masks on, of course, and we were quickly let through to the main entrance of the park. It looks like they did have some masks readily available for folks who may have been missing one. There was no temperature check, though. We did not experience having to have our temperature taken when we went through that tent. I'm not sure if other guests may be subject to that, depending on how they answered the questions. So once we were past the screening test, it was right up to the main gates. They did erect barriers, which was really nice for the folks who were working the turnstiles, where you go to scan your pass. So basically, you get your ticket, you walk right up, and then bam, you're inside. And once you're inside, I gotta be honest, it's pretty much a normal day at the zoo. As many of you may know, the San Diego Zoo is world famous. It's a beautiful, beautiful place to walk around, and honestly, that's pretty much why we go, in the first place. We do see our animal friends too, but we do love walking around the zoo. It's adjacent, of course, to Balboa Park. They did have a number of things set up in the zoo to encourage social distancing. So first, there were signs everywhere to remind you to try to keep that 6 feet of distance between you and the party in front of you, or to the side of you, or in back of you. At the larger exhibits that they do have in the zoo, you did see markings and stanchions on the ground to help keep that distance and to promote distance between you and your other parties in the area. While I personally would have liked to see some more staff trying to monitor people to keep their distance, I totally understand that it's pretty challenging given the size of the zoo, to have someone everywhere, because there's so many places to stop and take a photo and to look at the different different animals that they have on display. The zoo did do their best. They did put stickers on glass, that said high touch areas to try to encourage you not to touch that glass. They also did block access to railings in some of those high touch areas as well, which was really nice. There were some extra hand washing stations that we saw, hand sanitizer dispensaries scattered throughout the park. Some areas were also designated as one-way paths. This, of course, to help ensure the least amount of contact with others. So we did see quite a few of those one-way paths. The staff was limiting the number of people inside the gift shops, and even with that, it didn't look like there were too many lines building up, which was nice. Again, we were there first thing in the morning. I'm not sure how much that would change throughout the day. A little side note too, if you do want a mask, the zoo is selling their own mask, of course. I feel like everyone has basically put their logo on a mask at this point. They're going for $7.95 should you want to purchase one. I was very, very happy to see an overwhelming majority of guests adhering to the mask requirement. 99% was probably what we saw. There was really only 1 or 2 couples, one of which actually was being ridiculed by another group. I wasn't getting involved in that. It was typical June gloom weather, as you can see here, for San Diego this morning. It was a little humid. So I thought that may push people to actually be less compliant. But people were good. I'm not sure how much this may change, as the day progresses and people get tired and things like that. On a social distancing side, again, it was a little less consistent. I kind of get this because of the way the exhibits are designed at the zoo, but there's definitely room for people to be more aware of what's going on around them. I just don't know how many signs you can put in front of someone to remind them, hey, you got to keep that 6 feet of distance. During our visit, I tell you, the zoo definitely brought out all the stops. They had almost every animal exhibit occupied by our little friends when we visited. We were very lucky to see some of the new additions too, including the new baby Pygmy Hippo. Oh my gosh, so cute. A couple of things to be aware of if you are planning a trip to the zoo anytime soon. However, this really didn't seem to be an issue when we visited. Number one, the bus tour that takes you around the property currently is not operating. We did see what looked like smaller VIP golf cart tours roaming the park. Keep in mind, you probably have to pay extra for that. Also, the Skyfari ride that takes you across the park is undergoing construction right now, so that was not open. And the zoo is completing construction on a brand new update to their children's zoo section, which looks to be an amazing upgrade once it is completed. So the children's section, obviously, not operating right now. Albert's, which is the zoo's very nice sit-down restaurant, it is open. However, there is construction, scaffolding all around Albert's right now. So the windows and the outdoor patio were all closed off. You can make reservations through the zoo's website if you do choose to dine at Albert's. They also have, from what we did see when we breezed by, they did have QR codes in place instead of paper or laminate menus, which I am a huge fan of as well. So hats off to the zoo for going that direction with the QR codes. Overall, it was great to get back to one of my favorite spots in San Diego. It's really up to you whether you want to venture out into the wilds of the zoo, considering our current, health crisis. I do recommend, if you do go though, visit early in the morning or late at night to avoid the crowds. Right now they're open till 6 o'clock during the week for their initial reopening, and then 8 o'clock on Saturdays and Sundays per their website. You may want to just check their website for their daily hours. So thanks for watching this video. Great to be back. We'll have more videos, of course, in the future. I hope this was helpful and informative. I hope you stay safe, follow along with more adventures to come, and of course you can follow me along on my social media, MATTYTJ. Thanks for watching.